morning and welcome to today's edition of Press Review here on Luntha television, a program that will look into some of the stories that are appearing in both papers of the Daily Times and the Nation. For today, you will be with me, King Mage Kamendo, and my colleague. So to begin with the Daily Times, on the front page, there is a story which says questions on the 174 billion kwacha deal, and partly the story says the opposition members of parliament yesterday queried the government's decision to issue 170 million kwacha. Should be 170 million US dollars, which is about 174 billion kwacha. Sovereign grantee to United Kingdom-based Ausamo Capital Management to extend a facility to the Smallholder Farmers Fertilizer Revolving Fund of Malawi, SFFRFM. The firm was supposed to finance the procurement and transportation of 350,000 metric tons of fertilizer to the 2022, should be for the 2022-2023 farming season.
The front page of the Nation, Make dismisses DPP on new constituencies and words. Part of the story, Malawi Electoral Commission has faulted opposition Democratic Progressive Party for questioning the demarcation of new constituencies and words, saying the party was being hypocritical as it was consulted in the process. MEC spokesperson Sangwani Mwafulira said that there's an interview yesterday in relation to a DPP statement that blamed Parliament for adopting the electoral body's recommendations to increase the number of constituencies and wards.
Okay, still on the front page, there's another story which says refugees relocation starts December 1, and partly the story says the government has announced that it will go full throttle relocating refugees and asylum seekers from all parts of the country to the refugees camp from December 1st. The government set November 30th this year and February 1st next year as deadlines for those residing in rural and urban areas respectively to go back to the Doha-based camp.
On the third page, large gatherings and safe water blamed for cholera. Part of the story, Ministry of Health, Director of Preventive Health Services, Stone Kabuluzi, has attributed the country's steady rise in cholera cases to unsafe water and large public gatherings, among other factors. However, speaking in an interview yesterday, he said government is addressing these factors. The ministry's statistics show that since October 31st, the country has registered triple figures of cholera cases every day, with the past 7 days recording 1,009 cases with 39 deaths.
I'm on the second page. There's a story which says the government holds HIV plan, and partly the story is saying Health Minister Kumbize Gandolojibunda says the government will support Right House Trust strategy, a strategic plan which seeks to scale up efforts against HIV and AIDS. She said this yesterday during the launch of the Lighthouse Trust strategic plan for 2022-2026 in Lilongwe. And he said that they have achieved a lot in terms of HIV management.
Analysts UTM differ on party resignations. Part of the story, political analysts in the UTM party have differed on the impact of the party leadership's silence on resignation of some senior members from its fold. While the analysts feel UTM party leadership's silence is weakening the grouping, the party's Secretary General Patricia Kaliati said that the party remained strong despite the storm. The sentiments come hot on the heels of the resignation of the party's publicity secretary Frank Monifumbo on Tuesday.
Alright, now turning to the business pages, there is a story which says national budget under scrutiny as Gwengwe presents mid-year budget, and partly the story says Minister of Finance Sostin Gwengwe is expected to deliver to Parliament the 2022-2023 mid-year budget statement as the financial plan seems to almost gone lag. Most parameters anchoring the budget are seen losing shape. This year's 2.8 trillion kwacha national budget was planned with a grading 884.04 billion kwacha deficit, or an equivalent of 7.7% of gross domestic product, of which should be 653.98 billion kwacha was meant to be covered through domestic borrowing.
IMF tips Malawi on taming inflation. The story has a subheadline says high inflationary pressure threatens growth. Part of the story, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has urged authorities to ensure that the monetary policy framework aims at restoring price as well as financial stability to take the country out of its fragile economic state. In a country report for Malawi released on Wednesday, the global lender faulted the Reserve Bank of Malawi monetary policy, saying it is not fully working to control money supply growth.
Okay, another one says RBM revokes Alliance stock brokers license, and part of the story says the Reserve Bank of Malawi RBM has revoked the license for Alliance Stock Brokers Limited, a subsidiary of Alliance Capital Holdings Limited, barely 2 weeks after another subsidiary of the company Alliance Capital Limited faced a liquidation order from the High Court, High Court's Commercial Division.
SRWP needs 831 billion for project aligned to Malawi 2063. A part of the story, Southern Region Water Board has unveiled an ambitious plan that requires 803 million US dollars, which is about 831 billion to boost water coverage in line with aspirations of Malawi 2063, the country's long-term development strategy. Quoting its master plan for the next 30 years, SRWB Chief Executive Officer Duncan Jambamba said in an interview on Tuesday that the money will come from government-supported loans and grants as well as self-generated revenue from consumers.
Now, turning to the very back page now for local sports, find Bandi, that's the headline you will be finding on the very back page of the Daily Times of today, Friday, November 30th, 2022. And the part of the story says the Football Association of Malawi Farms has slapped the mighty Mukuru Wanderers and Mafco with funds for various incidents that took place during the two teams at the Top 8 Cup first leg quarter-final match at Kamuzu Stadium in Luntha on November 6th. Farm has ordered Wanderers and Mafco to pay 1 million each after finding them guilty of 2 offences. Additionally, Mafco striker Richard Mburu has been fined 500,000 kwacha and is banned for 1 match on the charge of misconduct.
Queens cry foul. The subheadline, old allowances to World Cup Commonwealth Games. Malawi Queens players have described the Malawi National Council of Sports delay to pay them 4.65 million in allowances for the Commonwealth Games and World Cup qualifiers as demotivating. Each player is owed about 375,000 kwacha. Some of the players who did not want to be mentioned yesterday say that they wonder why it takes long for them to get their dues when their football counterparts, the Flames, hardly struggle for the same.
Okay, I will take you through some internationals, and which says, I have one here which says Japan funds clean up stadium, and the story says the magnitude of their win over Germany could have seen them go off into the night in celebration, but Japanese fans demonstrated that the best manners and habits ingrained no matter the situation. Come full time, the stands of sporting stadia are usually littered with used food trays and wrappers and empty drinks cups left behind for someone else to clean, but not when the Sumaili Brew in town. Their players fresh from a 2-1 victory over the 4-time champions in the World Cup opener had barely left the pitch when the Japanese in the crowd pressed the pause on the party to date up after themselves at the Khalifa International Stadium in Qatar.
Gavi, youngest to score at World Cup since 1958. Part of the story, Spain midfielder Gavi's goal in the team's 7-0 thrashing of Costa Rica on Wednesday made him the youngest World Cup scorer since Brazil great Pele in 1958. Pele was 17 in Sweden when he led Brazil to their first World Cup title, scoring 6 goals. Gavi, 18, also secured the game's Man of the Match award after becoming the youngest Spaniard to score at a World Cup, breaking the record of CES Fabregas, who was 19 when he netted against Ukraine in the 2006 tournament.
All right, for now for today's World Cup fixture, we will also be taking on Iran, Qatar will be taking on Senegal, Netherlands will be taking on Ecuador, and England will be hosting USA. Possibly we may turn to arts and culture pages.
On the arts and culture, this is the nation, Malawian films on show. Part of the story, at least 23 short and feature films will be showcased during the inaugural Malawi Film Festival, starting today at Golden Peacock Hotel in Lilongwe. The festival will also include a Filmmakers Association of Malawi annual general meeting, film producers talk, panel discussion, corporate presentations, and film awards. For some time, local film lovers have complained of limited access to local production, and the festival should offer them a rare opportunity to sample the projects.
Daughters Band in human trafficking awareness gigs, and it says an all-female music group, the Daughters Band, is set to tour close to 7 districts in the country in an effort aimed at bringing awareness to the people in the fight against human trafficking. The Daughters Band is a group which is based in Lilongwe for Music Crossroads, Malawi, and it was established with an aim of empowering women and show that they have what it takes to excel in different disciplines, including music.
Well, the last one for the day, E-Nation hooks Faith Musa as brand ambassador. Part of the story, National Publications Limited has unveiled musician Faith Musa as brand ambassador for E-Nation, the award-winning media house's electronic newspaper. In an interview yesterday, NPL head of sales Enalam Pande said that the development is timely and exciting news that will boost profiles and broaden objectives of both brands. She said Musa enjoys both local and international appeal, which is in tandem with the goals and objectives that the NPL brand stands for.
Well, with that, we've also come to the very end of today's program of Press Review here on Luntha television. Remember, we have just tackled some of the stories that are appearing in both papers, The Nation as well as the Daily Times. So maybe you may be interested to have your own copies. Both papers are going out at 1,000 kwacha each. That's it for us here. I am King Mech Kamendo and my colleague.
Jacqueline Said.
Stay blessed.